Hello, Burradar, greetings and welcome. Rising sea levels, coastal erosion and building higher sea defences might be something we talk about almost constantly today. In this video, we discover the story of Salem Bungalow and what remains here in sunny Rhyl, North Wales. Every summer, hundreds of holidaymakers cross this main road from the caravan sites between Prestatyn and Rhyl. They then walk along this footpath which crosses Rhyl Golf Course and then meets with the promenade. But this wasn't always a footpath leading just to the promenade and beach. If you had stood here in the year 1915, the view would have been very different. The man-made promenade didn't exist, and the footpath led to a bungalow which once stood on what is now the golden sandy beach. Alfred Dickinson had bought a plot of land from the Bodhridden estate and had Salem Bungalow built on it as a home for himself and his wife. The bungalow was a grand and large building with a veranda and a rooftop balcony. The grounds were large, with lawns and flower beds. There were even fruit and vegetables growing. Indeed, there was a second, much smaller bungalow, which could have been a residence for household staff. Old Ordnance Survey maps show a second property called Tervin Pella, similarly on what is now the beach, but a few hundred metres towards the distance of Prestatyn. The maps also reveal that the high water mark of ordinary tides was quite some distance further out. The golf course also was once larger than it is today, with parts of the course laying to each side of the Salem Bungalow. Alfred Dickinson was born close to Peterborough, England, in 1856. His father worked for the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway. In 1864, the whole family emigrated to America, where they journeyed to Salt Lake City. The family returned to England after only about 1 year. Alfred followed in his father's footsteps, making a career in the railway industry. He soon became an engineer and general manager at the South Staffordshire Tramway and Birmingham District Steam Tramway. As an engineer, he was soon developing ideas which were patented. One of his inventions was the swinging arm on the roof of trams, which collects electric power from the overhead wires. Alfred went on to work establishing tramways around the world. Notable examples of places he worked included Madrid, Cape Town and Hong Kong, among many others. He later branched out, working on hydroelectricity technology, notably in India. When Alfred passed away in 1941, a service was held here at his Salem Bungalow. He was buried in the Rhyl Town Cemetery. Initially, his family continued to live at Salem Bungalow, but that was soon to change, although his family did continue to live in Rhyl. Let's find out why. The sea has always been responsible for an ever-changing coastline of land. Rhyl developed rapidly in the 1800s as a seaside resort. The town had built a concrete sea defence, creating the promenade which we are familiar with today. At first, the promenade finished here at Splash Point. The remainder of the coast to Prestatyn was a natural coastline with sand dunes and a golf course. The promenade protected Rhyl from the ravages of the sea, but it altered things where the promenade ended. Here, in this direction, the high water line of 1871 had already encroached some 300 metres landward just by 1910. It was a similar story at Salem Bungalow. The sea was eroding the land. Alfred had a regular battle to keep the sea away. He had his own sea wall built in attempt to protect Salem Bungalow. This was moderately successful, but not quite successful enough, because the sea simply went around the sides of the wall. 3 years after Alfred's passing, in 1944, there was a mighty storm which breached the seawall and damaged the bungalow itself beyond repair. And so the Salem Bungalow was abandoned to the sea. The promenade and sea defences we see here today weren't built until around 1947. When it was built, it took away part of the Rhyl golf course. This left the course too small for 18 holes, which is why the course today is just 9 holes in length. Salem Bungalow remained abandoned. The sea gradually washed away more and more of the bungalow. Today, these scattered pieces of concrete are all that is left of Alfred's beloved bungalow and of his seawall. It's a fascinating place to visit though. The sands are constantly shifting, so what is on shore today may be buried under a bank of sand next month. But of course, some other rubble may be uncovered in sand today and may rise back to the surface again next week. And of course, the whole of the rubble that we see today disappears completely from sight twice every day when the tide comes in. The powerful sea is always relentless. Today, yet more work is ongoing to reinforce and support the sea defences on this stretch of the North Wales coastline. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please remember to do the like, comment and subscribe things. It really is helpful. It's time now for me to say goodbye. Hwyl fawr and have a grand tour.